Hello students, in today's video class we will be studying about assembler algorithms. So outline of today's video class is basic assembler functions, object program and assembler algorithms. So firstly, object program. The assembler must write the generated object code onto some output device. This object program will later be loaded into memory for execution. Okay. Now, this simple object program format we use contains three types of records. That is, firstly, header record, text record, and end record. So, header record contains program name, starting address, and length as the fields. So, program name is nothing but the name of the program, starting address of the program, and the length of the program. Okay. Next, text record. Text record contains the starting address of the program and length of the object code and the object code itself as the fields. Next, end record. End record contains the address of the first executable instruction. So what was the first executable instruction was address of the first executable instruction was 1000 there, 100. As already you have seen the example in the previous video, the starting address of that program was 100. Okay, so that will be the address of the first executable instruction. Next, you will be seeing some columns in the all the three records. So firstly, we'll see about header record. So header record first column contains H. H indicates header. Then column 2 to 7 contains program name. 2 to 7 means it contains column 6. Next 8 to 13 again 6 columns. It contains the starting address of the object program. Next column 14 to 19 contains the address of the object program in bytes. Right. Next, text record. The text record first column contains T. T symbol signifies text record. Next, 2 to 7 contains the starting address of the object program in the record. Next, column 8 to 9, it contains the length of the object code in this record in bytes. Okay. Next, column 10 to 69, it contains object code 10 to 69. It means how many? 60. 60 columns are used to store the object code represented in hexadecimal. 2 columns per byte of object code here. End record, it contains E. First column contains E, indicates end. Next, column 2 to 7, it contains address of the first executable instruction in the object program. That will be also in hexadecimal. Next, this is an example given in the textbook which shows an object program created. Okay, beside you have object code which we have generated in the previous video, and this is the output of the given program, which is nothing but your object program. Okay, so just now we have discussed about all the header of the records used, that is header record, and T signifies your text record, E signifies the end record. See here. So H means header, and next you will be having copy. Copy is nothing but the name of the program. And this symbol is used to specify to separate two fields, you can say. Copy and this field is separated by given this symbol here. But usually this symbol will not be stored in the executable file. This is used just to make you understand. Okay. So next is the starting address of the program. Starting address of the program was 1000. Okay. So column used here is 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6 here. Next, it contains the length of the program. What is the length of the program? So already you know the starting address of the program was 1000, 1000. And the end address was 2079. At line number 50, if you can see the previous video, 250 at 250 line number, you had 2079 as the address stored. In next line, in the end, you have end instruction. In that, you had hexadecimal 05 to be stored in the given object code. So 05 is nothing but in bytes. So if you want to store that, you need to store one digit will be having 4 bits. So two digit will be containing 8 bit. So you have to add one byte. That means 8 bit is nothing but one byte to the all the memory locations. I mean to 2079 memory location. So it will become 0207A. That means 2079 plus 1 becomes 207A. So this will be your last address. So if you minus 207A to 1000, you will be getting 107A as the length of the program. End address minus the starting address gives you the length of the program. So this will be your length of the program. Right. Next is nothing but T. T means text record. So first it will be storing the starting address of the program. Then it will be storing the length of the object code here. So suppose your object code, what we can store is, we can store up to 60 columns. 60 columns here. That means we can store up to 10 object code here into first record of text. Till here we can store into first text record. So that means how many? One object code contains 3 bytes. That means totally 10 records. It will be 30 bytes are required to store this 10 object code in this text record. So what will be the length of this? What will be the length of this object code? It will be 1E. So 30, if you translate into hexadecimal, you will get 1E as the answer. Similarly, you can store the next text record from this line 0C136 till this one. So these are 7 in numbers. So 7 into 3 becomes 21. So 21, if you convert into hexadecimal, you will get 15 is the answer. Okay, and like this we can store the other records here. So lastly, E is nothing but your end record. It stores the first address of your executable file, that is nothing but 00100. Okay, so this was the example of your object program. Next we'll see about algorithm for pass1 assembler. So already you have seen the example how we calculate your addresses in the location counter, what are opcodes, what are labels, what are operand values there. Okay, so based on those example, we'll see how this algorithm works. So firstly, read the first input line. So if opcode, so you know your program will be containing first label. Okay, so next it will be containing your opcode. Next it will be containing the operand values. So this is the format of having label, opcode and operands. So most of the programs will be having this kind of columns, and also it will be having some line number if required, but most of the time it will be having this label, opcode and operands as the three main column names. Okay, so first, if opcode is equals to start, so when you indicate this is the start of the program, then save the operand value as a starting address. So whenever you have seen in the previous example, start will be having 100 as the starting address. So if you have that, so if you have that address, you save that address as a starting address. So initialize allows location counter to the starting address. So increment, or you save that starting address into a location counter. Then write line to the intermediate file. So intermediate file is nothing but a file which we give it to the pass to assembler. Okay. Read the next input line if you have it. Otherwise, if you don't have a starting address as 100 or any other number, initialize location counter to 0. Okay. Next, if opcode is not equals to end, if there are some other symbols to be read, we can read that. If this is not a comment line, so comment line usually starts with dot in this kind of assembly program. Dot symbolize it's a comment line. So whenever you see a dot in the program, it means it's a comment line. Now, if this is not a comment line, we can move to the next line. If there is a symbol in the label field, then search symbol table for a label. If there is a symbol in the label field, okay, then begin search. Search if there is a symbol in the symbol table here. Symbol. So next, if found, already if there is one symbol and you are storing that same symbol again, it will give you an error flag here. Duplicate symbol. You can't store that same symbol name again here. Duplicate symbol. Otherwise, if it is a new symbol, you can insert in with the label name and the location counter into the symbol table here. Right. Next, search. Search op table for a opcode. If you find a opcode, okay, with opcode means it will be in the form of rsub, add, or jsub, such kind of we call as opcode here. If found, then add 3. Add 3 because it's a instruction length is nothing but your 3 bytes. So you have to add 3 to the location counter. If your opcode is word in now we'll be seeing about your assembler directives. Assembler directives are nothing but your start, end, word, reserve byte, reserve word, so on, are nothing but your assembler directives. So we'll see that also. If your opcode is word, then also add 3 to your location counter. If your opcode is reserve word, add 3 to the location counter. Add 3 into the operation value. Suppose if you give reserve word comma 2 or reserve word 2, it means 2 words should be stored here. So add 3 into 2. So 6 will be added to the location counter. If opcode is equals to reserve byte, add, if reserve byte will be only 1, so add the operand. Reserve byte will be the constant value, reserve the operand value to the location counter. If opcode is equals to byte, then find the length of the constant in bytes, add that length to the location counter. Okay. Next, set error flag if invalid operation code. If you have given an incorrect operation code, suppose if you write instead of writing add, if you write j or e, it will give you an error saying it is not an operation code. And if not a comment, now write line to the intermediate file, read next input line. So go on writing this lines to the intermediate file. Next, write last line to the intermediate file, which is that line is nothing but your program length. Already I have told you what is the program length here. 107A is nothing but your program length. That is your location counter minus the starting address. The last location counter minus the starting address will give you the program length. So that will be stored in the last line of your intermediate file. So next we'll see about pass-through algorithm. So in pass-through algorithm, it makes use of symbol table used which was generated in pass1, and in pass2 algorithm, it assembles the instructions and it will translate the operation code into object code, and it will also generates the data value for byte, word, reserve byte of the instructions which are assembler directives. Remember, in pass1 this assembler directive will not be converted into object code. So it and also in pass2 also it will only be generated into a object code, and it will also process the assembly directives which are not done during pass1. Okay, so in pass2, uh, read first line input from the intermediate file. The intermediate file was generated during pass1 of the algorithm. If opcode equals to start, okay, so if it is a start of the program, then write listing line, read next input line. So go on reading the next input line here. Next, write the header record. So we have seen all the three records of the object program, header record to the object program now. Initialize first text record. So after you copy the header record, initialize the first text record. So while opcode is not equals to end, so you start with the opcode, and if opcode is not equals to end, it is not the end of the program. And if this is not a comment line, search optab for opcode. In optable, search for the opcode. If found, then there is a symbol in an operand field. If there is a symbol in an operand field, then in symbol table you search for that operand. Why I need to search in that symbol table? Because in symbol table we'll be having the addresses of that operand. Next, if found, then store that symbol value in as a operand address. So if that operand value is found, and if you have that operand address, store the value as a operand address. Next, if you don't find that symbol value into a symbol table or a operand value in a symbol table, store 0 as a operand address or set error flag. Next, store 0 as a operand address. This will be coming because when you don't have a operand for a opcode, if you have a opcode for that instruction, and if you don't have an operand there, that time you have to use 0 as a operand address. For example, jump to subroutine. If you have that instruction, you will not be having any operand value there. You will be having only opcode. So in that case, we have to store only 0 as a operand address. Now assemble the object code instructions. Assemble all the object code instruction. Next, if opcode is found, like if opcode something like byte or word is found, then convert the constant to object code. If object code will not fit into the current text record, then begin. So remember, the one text record will be having, we can store the object code of only 60 length. Remember, we have seen in the object code length only 60 bytes we can store. So if it does not fit into the object code, then write text record to object program. That means initialize new text record. Initialize the next line of the text record there. Okay. And add object code to a text record. And go on adding the next object code to the text record. Write listing line. Read the next input line till you get to the end of the program. While not end, then write last text record to a object program. Okay, then write end record. Remember, we have seen the three records. We have finished with the text record. Write the last text record to the object program. Now write the last end record. So what end record will be having? It will be having the starting address of the address of the program. So that address will be stored in the object program here. So write last listing line. So last listing line will be the end record line. So this is the end of the pass to assembler algorithm. Okay, so this was about the assembler algorithms and how to write the object program. So what fields we have in object program we have studied in this video. So in next video we'll be seeing about the SIC XC machine. Thank you.